Alright, what's going on, you fam? Raiyuden here. So we just saw the reveal and stuff, getting a standalone transforming Legends Limited Vegito, as well as a Goku Black. Exciting stuff, I suppose. If you're a future main, I've noticed that some people are a little bit disappointed by the choices just because they didn't want to be a bit creative with them. I myself am kind of shocked that there's no comeback mechanic or synchro gauge being utilized here, given that this is one of the biggest celebrations for the entire game. I would imagine you want to go out, but hey, transforming Vegito, transforming Goku Black, they're two exciting characters, so at least some people are happy. The one thing that confuses me, though, is the direction of the power creep in this game. This auto counter nullification, I know a lot of people requested this, but it comes at a surprise for me because counter gauges existed as a way to stop the overwhelming amount of power a lot of characters have. Too many characters got cover nullification, far too many characters had too many disruptive effects in their mind, I guess. So they decided we're going to go ahead and give counters just to put an end to those things. With them going ahead and removing counters and then also removing the power effects of cover changes, assuming I'm correct with how Legends Limited Goku Black works, I kind of scratch my head at how we're doing, you know, like a round table circling back to the original issue thing here. I don't know. We'll have to see what these characters do, but I'm kind of confused on what they're trying to achieve here. You know what I mean? I know not every character release has to answer something, but I would like to think they exist with a purpose beyond just making money. Either way, let's go ahead and take a look. Number 1 new feature, auto counter nullification. Max out the unique gauge to nullify enemy auto counters and special cover changers. After transforming, you can activate this effect again by using special Rs, or if the unique gauge is full, by entering the battlefield. Number 2, combo capabilities with max unique gauge. Additionally, filling the unique gauge to max will also nullify unfavorable element factors, card destruction effects, and key reduction effects. You'll be able to dish out some frighteningly powerful combos. As if this issue did not already exist. You know why we're in the timer count meta? Because characters can combo forever and nobody wants to die. That's why. It's not just a matter of no one wants to die because of defense. It's because everybody combos for a frightening amount of time. Trio Might Goku gets cover null, stacking card draw speed. Turles has level 2 card draw speed with cover null right out the gate. Ultra Majin Vegeta is the same thing. And then when you combo these things with like AoE green cards that give you key or additional cards or just more cover nullification, this is where you end up. So they're kind of just throwing more on the original issue. Number 3, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Transformation. Restore the Vanish Gauge by 100% with the main ability. Plus, you'll recover 50 ki, regain 50% health, and if you have 3 or fewer, draw 2 cards. Face down even the fiercest of foes with Legends Limited Vegito, the future-saving fusion warrior. Alright, we already know about the whole headlining green typing curse thing where every headlining green LF has been done dirty. It's true for Dragon Fist, it's true for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and it is also true for Evo Ken. So could this be the redemption of the curse? Let's go ahead and find out. What do we got? At 14 stars, 38% to tag future Fusion Warrior or God Ki base strike and blast attack, and 18% to future base strike defense. Thank the heavens, they finally learned their lesson and decided, yes, offensive abilities make more sense for these characters, because if they went double defense again, this would be the last video we ever do. Strike card. Strike cards have armor, so charge in without fear of enemy blast darts, no biggie. Land a blast darts to increase the damage they receive. Every time you land a blast card, the enemies hit with attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage received for 10 counts. That's a long time. Special move. Land this special move to greatly reduce the enemy's ki. You'll even destroy their cards and reduce their Dragon Balls, making it even harder for them to start a counterattack. Deals massive impact damage, 30% to special move damage inflicted for 3 counts, plus the following effects on hit. Randomly destroy 3 cards? Reduce ki by 50. Reduces Dragon Balls by 1. Okay, it only activates once. Alright, the way that they worded it made it sound like, yeah, just do it forever. That would be a nightmare. And of course, blast armor when charging forward, that's fine. green card. This special arts will greatly reduce the enemy's health restoration, so use it against troublesome opponents that like to recover tons of health. So Evil Boo, G4, Turles. This is good. Randomly draw one new card. Restores own health by 15% and ki by 50. Charges on unique gauge by 20%. 20% to damage inflicted for 15 counts. Shorten ally sub count by 1. Inflict all enemies with the attribute downgrade minus 50% to health restore. Damn, it's not even on the guy that you hit. It's everybody. So UG4 can't just show up and think that, hey, I'm going to heal willy-nilly because my ally got smacked by this. Trio Might Goku can't think the same thing with his unique gauge. Everybody's getting smacked with this. We're going backwards, gentlemen. Main ability, transform into Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. You'll even restore the Vanish gauge by 100%. Transform into Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. Randomly draw at most 2 new cards when you have 3 or fewer cards. Restores own health by 50% and ki by 50. Restore on Vanish gauge by 100%. Cancel own attribute downgrades under normal conditions. Very, very, very strong main ability. Especially when you factor in the unique gauge when you show up on the field kind of stuff. Craziness. Alright, I'm ready for some lunacy here. I already know this is going to be nuts. Unique ability 1. Boost your damage inflicted higher and higher by using strike or blast darts. Plus, for the first 30 counts of the start of battle, Vegito has a buff that will nullify enemy special cover changes, so use that chance to go on the offensive. Note that if the enemy activates an auto counter or evade action, their ki will be reduced by 100 and all enemies' arts cost will increase by 20. Vegito is tremendously strong against auto counters. Holy crap. Just when you thought you needed Trio Might Goku or Shin to deal with Ultra Majin Vegeta, guess what? It seems there's another character that will box out any countering ability, and it's Vegito. Plus, the following effects do self when the battle starts. 150% to damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 70%, increases card draw speed by 1 level, minus 5 to arts cost, and apply buff effect, nullify cover changes for 30 counts. The following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield. Restore ki by 30. 80% to damage inflicted. Inflict all enemies with the attribute downgrade minus 15% to strike and blast arts power. And inflict all enemies with the attribute downgrade minus 30% to special move, ultimate, and awakened arts power. All for 10 counts. Vegito sitting at 230% damage inflicted willy-nilly. Already looking very impressive. Applies the following effects to self every time this character uses a strike or blast arts card. Randomly draw 1 new card if you have 3 or fewer. The infamous 3 or fewer. Activation count resets on switch. Restore ki by 10? Restore ki by 10? Oh my god, they were not kidding. They were not kidding about, oh, this dude can combo forever. Holy crap. Restoring 10 ki every time you use a strike or blast card on a character with 30 counts of cover nullification with minus 5 blast arts cost. The beginning of fights will drag on for so long, and stacking damage too. Wow. Wow. So if Vegito's gonna land a blast card on you, he's essentially doing 25% damage inflicted. 10% coming from you taking extra damage, 15% from him stacking up damage. Wow, wow, wow. The following effects occur when enemy activates auto counter or evade action. Activates once. 50% to own unique gauge charge rate. Shorten ally subcount by 5. Reduce enemy ki by 100. Cancels enemies attribute upgrades and buff effects. Ooh. Inflicts all enemies with the attribute downgrade plus 20 to all arts cost for 5 counts. Activation count is shared before and after transforming. Okay, it only activates once. Okay. Okay. And because it's shared between before and after transforming, you only nullify it once. And we already know unique gauges have it up to 3 times. So, okay. Perhaps I went ahead and misjudged. They at least dampen how severe auto counter engages are. That at least is fine. If it is truly only once, both forms, that's fine. If it was a complete shutdown of the mechanic, that would be ridiculous. But it only happens once. I'm okay with that. I say I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it nullifying once. We already have characters that are suitable counters to these things. Trio Might Goku, when he's locked in, you lose 100 ki. That's fine. When you have whatchamacallit, you know, Shin, he's able to seal up cards. You know, there's quote unquote counters to these things without being direct counters. So this is fine. I'll take that. This is a direct counter to auto counter. It's not a behavior that just so happens to align with auto counter. This is fighting auto counters directly. So I'm fine with Unique ability 2 has a special cover change against strike arts. Unfavorable element factors for damage sustained will be nullified when Vegito is hit by an enemy arts attack, and health will be restored as well. Oh, this is interesting. Unfavorable element factors for damage sustained will be nullified when Vegito is hit by an enemy arts attack. Huh, okay. It's kind of like the reverse of the cover change. You know, when Shin has to land a card to get it first. It's similar to that, but on a defensive measure where you first have to get hit to start having that. That's not bad. If the opponent hits you with a type advantage heavy hitting move like an ultimate or a blue card, it could be an issue. But if they're traditionally just comboing you, this could be fine just because you're not necessarily wasting it early. There are some units that will simply show up on the field and have the type neutral for 5 counts. Very easy for it to just wither away. I think God Goku does this. I think there's another character, meta character that comes to mind where they do this. So I can see where it's relevant. Do I think it's number 1 absolutely amazing? I'm not sure. We'll have to see how well it plays in game, but I am simply understanding where its use case could be. All right. If Vegito's health was also reduced to 50% or below, then the unique gauge will charge up by 50%. Nullify unfavorable element factors, auto counters, and special cover changes when you max out the unique gauge. Fill it up quick to start an oppressive offense. So, cover change against strike arts, chainable with the blue. The following effects occur every time when hit with an enemy's arts attack while this character is on the battlefield. Activates once. Restores own health by 10%. Nullify own unfavorable element factors for 10 counts. Shorten ally subcount by 1. Reduce enemy key by 20. Activation count resets after character switch. No biggie. The following effects occur if own remaining health is 50% or below after being hit by an enemy's arts attack while this character is on the field. Restore on health by 20%. Charge on unique gauge by 50%, and inflict all enemy with the attribute downgrade plus 30 to all arts cost for 5 counts. Nice little disruptive effect. Slightly charges on unique gauge every time this character uses an arts card while they are on the field. Applies the following effects to self when the unique gauge is full. Randomly draw at most 4 new cards when you have 3 or fewer. Restore health by 30%. Level 2 card draw speed now. Nullify unfavorable element factors for 5 counts. Apply buff effect, nullify enemy destroy card effects, nullify enemies reduce key effects, and apply the buff effect, nullify enemies auto counters, evade actions, and special actions that activate when changing cover. Evade actions! Holy crap. Evade actions. This guy counters Ultra UI, LF UI, and MUI. I think this character exists because the Ultra is MUI. I think it is MUI. I actually think the Ultra is MUI now. This almost... If he's not the Ultra, he's somewhere in Fest. I think the Japanese preview sort of gave it away because he does a pose where Goku's doing like a back lat spread and he's looking back at you, making you admire his wings. But number 2, this right here almost spells we want to give you an early counter to some nightmare fuel that's coming down the line. Assault Chain literally did the exact same thing against UG4. He's got an all-encompassing unique gauge that counters literally everything. Hey, we're going to go ahead and give you a character that will nullify those unique gauge countering things in the form of Assault Chain. This could be a clue to what we see, and I now very 99% truly believe MUI is either the Ultra or an LF very soon. That right there to me gave it away. This gave it away. That's terrifying. And special actions that activate when changing cover for 10 counts. The following effects occur when enemy activates an ultimate, Awaken Arts, or Rising Rush while this character is on the field. Activates 3 times. Whoa! Shorten ally subcount by 5 and cancels enemy attribute upgrades and buff effects. Yo! 3 damn times. Damn! Oh my god, we read all this crap and it wasn't even with him transforming yet. Damn. That is so damn strong. Holy crap. All right, what do we got here? Okay, you know what? I don't want to go too crazy here, but That is this right here is super strong. Shorten sub count and remove buff effects. The combination of the two, very, very strong. All right. Strike and Blast are the same. Blue card. Now, the special move now has the ability to pierce enemy endurance effects. Massive impact damage. Following effects occur upon activation. 50% to special move damage inflicted for 3 counts. Nullify enemies, restore own health effects. Applies the following effects on hit. Destroy all cards. Reduce key to enemy on hit. Destroy all cards. Reduce key by 50. Reduce Dragon Ball by 1. Activates twice with Infamous Blast Armor. His special. This special arts can now nullify enemy auto counters and special cover changes on hit. It can also draw an arts card. Alright, let's see. The following effects occur upon activation. Restore health by 15% and key by 50. Charges on the unique gauge by 20%. 20% to damage inflicted. Apply buff effect, nullify enemy auto counter, evade actions, and special actions that activate when changing cover. Notice that this says on activation, not on hit. So he just has to pop the green and the guy will already not have to worry about you dodging it. So this is a forward charging green card, cannot be countered by any auto dodging mechanics, and this can also not be stopped by a you know, like an Ultra Gohan or Ultra Gohan. Janemba I think counts too, and UG4 and all these other characters that can't stop this because it's on activation. Shorten ally sub count by 1. The following effects occur on hit. Randomly draw 1 new card when you have 3 or fewer cards. Inflict all enemies with the attribute downgrade minus 50% to health restore, and is chainable with literally everything. Okay, here we go. Main ability. Like pre-transformation, restore Vanish Gauge by 100%. In addition, you'll get an uncancelable buff to damage inflicted and even draw a special move arts. So, main ability. Post-transformation. Draw a blue card. Restores own health by 30%, key by 50. 20% to damage inflicted, permanent. Restore your Vanish Gauge, cancel own attribute downgrades that are normal conditions, seal enemy ultimate and awakened arts, and the sealed arts cannot be used for 5 counts. Fun. Unique ability 1. If the unique gauge is full, when you enter the battlefield, nullify unfavorable element factors, card destruction effects, and key reduction effects. Transforming will buff Vegito's offense and defense, such as adding the ability to draw cards when you use a Strike or Blast arts if you have 3 or fewer, or by reducing impact, explode, and slice damage in damage received. The following effects occur after transforming. Another 30% to damage inflicted, 60% to key recovery. Holy crap, reduces impact, explode, and slice damage received by 15% permanently? Wow. Keep in mind, these cannot be canceled passives. Pre-transformation are carrying over. What did we say? Vegeta was sitting at 230%. Pre-transformation showing up on the field. Now he's sitting at 260 post-transformation. And he gets another 20% off his main ability, 280. And keep in mind that this character stacks up 15% damage inflicted every time he uses a Strike or Blast. He has 70% reduced damage received. Now he has additional reduces impact, explode, and slice damage received by 15%. He is going to be a hard-hitting tanky boy. The following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield or transforms. Yes, reduce power effects, that's the same. Plus effects, if unique gauge is full, this is the same. Applies the following effects to self every time his character uses a Strike or Blast. He restores 10 key, 15% damage inflicted, that's the same. This is new. Randomly draw 2 new cards when this character uses a Strike or Blast card if you have 3 or fewer cards and the unique gauge is filled. Activation count resets after character switch. The following effects occur when the enemy activates auto counter or evade action. 50% to own unique gauge charge rate. Shorten ally subcount by 5. Reduces enemy key by 100. Cancel enemy attribute upgrades and buff effects. Inflict all enemies with the attribute downgrade. Plus 20 to all arts cost for 5 counts. Epic. If you're hit by an enemy arts attack and the unique gauge is full, you'll get an additional reduction to impact, explode, and slice damage received here as well. What? How can there be more? How can there be more? Okay, so he has a cover change against strike arts. That's the same. When he's hit with an enemy's arts attack, restore health by 10%. Nullify own unfavorable element factors for damage sustained 10 counts. Shorten ally sub count by 1. Reduce enemy key. Also reduces impact, explode, and slice damage received by 15% for 5 counts if unique gauge is full. Holy crap, dude. He's going to be so damn tanky. 70% reduced damage received. 15% reduced impact, explode, and slice damage. He heals, what, 30% of his health if it falls below 50%. And then if his unique gauge is filled, he has another 15% here. This guy's going to be so tanky. Yeah, look, it's right here. The following effects occur if own remaining health is 50% or below after being hit by an enemy's arts attack. Notice how it says activates once, but it doesn't say the activation count is shared. Meaning, if you are base form Vegito and your health falls below 50%, this will activate. And then when you transform, it sounds like you get another activation count. That is so insane to me. What? Slightly charges on unique gauge every time this character uses an arts card while they're on the battlefield. Applies the following effects to self once the unique gauge is full. Randomly draws at most 4 new cards when you have 3 or fewer cards. Restores health by 30%. Increases arts card draw speed by 1 level. Nullify unfavorable element factors. So these are all the same. Same with this final passive here. These are all the same. That's crazy. All right, without even seeing Goku Black, Vegito is guaranteed at a minimum a top 4 character. I know what you're saying. Top 4. The other characters are just that insane. Even if Goku counters, auto-counter engages, it does not change the fact that Ultra Majin Vegeta still removes buff effects, still has the endurance effect, still has the AoE green. He still is Ultra Majin Vegeta with the sniping, the lock-in, the type neutral, the damage, the craziness, the combo. He's still him. And Turles is the same way. Still has the crazy card draw speed, crazy tanking, crazy damage inflicted, the comeback mechanics, second life that can't be nullified by literally anything. They're still them. And then the third character, this is going to be the tricky one. Gotenks and the way that character is able to just funnel a tremendous amount of green cards to all the different characters, the sustained damage cut, buff effect, the unique gauge, the combo potential, the overall damage inflicted, the feint, the Dragon Balls, the everything. Those 3 characters are so far ahead of the remainder of the game that I will say without trying that he leapfrogs everybody else, but to be safe, he's below them until trying. Only until we try this character will we know how impactful all these mechanics are. Because, yeah, you could do a ton of damage. Yeah, you can tank a lot, but we're a little bit beyond that right now. I think the game is a little bit beyond that. We have far more sophisticated mechanics to deal with. We have far more impactful things in the game. Things like, oh, I got a rush that can instantly hit you for free. Stuff like that. It's all about how well it impacts the game. Assault Chain in theory sounded like it would be very busted because it nullifies every defensive measure in the game until it was applied in game, and we found out that although it can do those things, its damage output did not make it worth what you gave up, which is combo potential. So it matters how well he does in game. That's why I'm saying top 4 at a minimum. It could be very likely that he is better than Turles and he is better than Gotenks, but he is not going to be better than Ultra Majin Vegeta. It's very likely that that's the case. Vegeta is quite literally too damn strong, but this is a character that's worthy of Legends Festival. He looks ridiculous. We will have to see how well this goes on. Next, we got Legends Limited Goku Black. So this guy seems to be a defensive version of what Vegito is trying to do. I've been yapping for too long, I'm sorry. Transform into Super Saiyan Rose during battle. Legends Limited Goku Black joins the fight. His strengths: number 1, new feature, no special cover changing. For 15 timer counts after the battle starts, as well as when you max out the unique gauge, enemies will be prevented from special cover changing. That means any character will be able to go on the offense without having to worry about enemy special cover changes. Oh... He's giving this as a buff to... He's giving it as an indirect buff to allies. So this is a debuff effect applied to the entire enemy field, which benefits everyone on your team, because if you do not have cover null right out the gate, because they can't cover change against you, it doesn't matter. Okay, I see what this is. All right, so it's not what I thought. No cover changes is a debuff, but Does that nullify the special actions that occur when you cover change? So when you cover change, you kill cards or reduce ki. Does it nullify that too? We'll have to see. All right. Not only that, but it's an effect that can't be canceled with cancel abnormal condition effects. Okay, this is already crazy to me. This is what I was worried about. I was wondering if this is something that could be completely nullified, but you can't nullify it. That's wild. Number 2, Super Saiyan Rose Transformation. Use the main ability to transform and get a big boost to damage inflicted. Plus, the ability grants a buff that nullifies enemy special cover changes, making it easy to use in the middle of a combo. Number 3, excellent defensive abilities. How can it be more excellent based off of what we already got from Vegito Blue? Honestly, Vegito Blue sounds so damn tanky. Goku Black has a unique gauge that charges each time this character is hit by an enemy arts. Max it out to destroy enemy cards and reduce their ki. Plus, activate an endurance effect and destroy your opponent's entire hand when health reaches 0. So it sounds like our friend has endurance as well. Drown the world in radiant rose-colored despair with Legends Limited Goku Black. Alright, 14 star, 38% to future, God Key, and powerful opponents, strike and blast defense. Listen, just because he's a defensive character doesn't mean that has to be what he provides. It doesn't have to be double defense. It really doesn't. This character could have had strike attack and defense. He could have been blast attack and defense. He could have been strike attack and blast defense. He literally could have been anything but double defense. Alright. Strike. Has a strike arts that reduces the enemy's health restore on hits, but he doesn't have blast armor on his strikes. Blast card. Has a blast card that restores own health when used. Special move. Inflict the enemy with heavy bleed on hit. If the unique gauge is full, you'll even nullify enemy endurance effects. Deals massive explode damage. 30% to special move damage inflicted for 3 counts upon activation. 100% chance to inflict heavy bleed on hit. If the unique gauge is full, resets own unique gauge to 0 and the following effects occur upon activation. 30% to special move damage inflicted for 3 counts. Nullify endurance effects. Inflict all enemies with attribute downgrade minus 30% to health restore and blast armor when charging forward. Okay. Just like Super Baby 2, it seems like. Special. A special arts that can nullify strike arts and various forward charging arts. If you manage to nullify an attack, reduce the enemy's vanish gauge to 0% and reduce their ki by 100 for an instant chance to go on the counter attack. Plus the following effects to self upon activation, restores own health by 10% and nullifies unfavorable element factors for damage sustained. Nullifies enemy melee tap actions, strike arts, and most forward charging and other special move and special arts while in fighting pose. Keep in mind it says melee tap actions, so that doesn't mean when you just go pew and you throw the little ki blast. It's tap attacks, strike arts, forward charging blues, and greens. So it's like that. Like Goku's green card and the Goku Frieza character, or, you know, Trio Might Goku's blue card, stuff like that. The following effects occur if attacks are nullified. Randomly draw at most 4 new cards when you have 3 or fewer cards. Restores own ki by 50, 30% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. Reduce the enemy vanish gauge to 0, activates once. Reduce the enemy ki by 100, activates once. And inflict all enemies. Ooh, inflict all enemies with 3 substitution counts. Aha! This is what I was wondering. So what if you reduce the vanish gauge? The character's just going to swap out. But that definitely changes things. Now they are basically forced to take the hit. This is a baby version of the comeback mechanic. Turles' comeback mechanic when you have a 1v1 scenario. This is just the baby version of that. You lose your vanish, you lose your ki, and you got nowhere to go. You're screwed. That's what that sounds like. Alright, what do we got? Main ability, transform into Super Saiyan Rose. Restore a bunch of health and ki while also gaining a buff. Sorry, I just want to double check. Comments on a video. Okay, we're fine. Transform into Super Saiyan Rose. Restore a bunch of health and ki while also gaining a buff that nullifies enemy special cover changes. Transform into Super Saiyan Rose. Restore own health by 30% and ki by 50. Apply buff effect. Nullify enemy special actions that activate when changing cover to self for 10 counts. Cancel zone attribute downgrades in normal conditions. Only 20 timer counts. Unique ability 1. Inflict all enemies with no special cover changing at battle start. Goku Black has incredible defenses. Just by entering the battlefield, nullify unfavorable element factors for damage sustained, get a reduction to impact and slice damage received, and reduce all enemies' special move, ultimate, and awakened arts power. If the enemy uses an ultimate, awakened, or rising rush while Goku Black is on the battlefield, cancel enemy buff effects. You'll also be able to use this character to withstand your opponent's biggest attacks. Goku Black has endurance, it sounds like, so he basically has what made Ultimate Gohan so tanky. The guy has endurance and he removes buffs for everything, so you can't really kill him with a big move. That's cool. Let's see. The following effects occur when battle starts. 150% to damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 70%, 70% to own key recovery, level 1 cardio speed, -5 to own arts costs. It's weird how they changed the wording. Like, Vegito, it says -5 to arts costs. This one, it says -5 to own arts costs. Are they trying to say that Vegito is reducing everyone's arts costs or something? Why is the wording different? Inflict all enemies with no special cover changing for 15 counts. The following effects occur when this character enters the field. Randomly draw 1 new card if you have 3 or fewer. Restores own health by 15%. Activates 3 times. Activation count is shared before and after transforming. Okay, that's smart. This kind of stinks. This means that you don't want to start with Goku Black because you would very easily... Never mind. Disregard what I just said. Restore own ki by 30 and 70% to damage received. Reduces impact and slice damage received by 10% for 10 counts. Cannot be cancelled. Nullify own unfavorable element factors for damage sustained for 10 counts. Inflict all enemies with the attribute downgrade. -20% special move, ultimate, and awakened arts power for 15 counts. Why does it already scream that Vegito had better defensive capabilities? I assume this guy's defensive numbers will be like in the 190s of 14 stars, and Vegito's will be in the 170s, high 170s. Okay. Applies the following effects to self upon landing. A strike or blast star is hit. Restore ki by 30. 30% to damage received for 10 counts. To damage inflicted, sorry. Activation count resets after character switch. Restore ki by 30, just like Namek Goku. Cancel enemy buff effects when they activate an ultimate, awakened, or rising rush while this character is on the field. Activates twice. Activation count is shared before and after transforming. Okay. Shorten own subcount by 5 when enemy activates an ultimate, awakened arts, or rising rush while this character is on standby. Okay, see there, that's the key part. If you have this guy paired with another character or moves buff effects, aka Vegito, then this guy will be the one to just sponge the hit, because it sounds like he has endurance. There could be a lie. Unique ability 2 has a special cover change against strike cards. Restore 20% of the damage received when an enemy attack is over. If your health reaches 0, activate an endurance effect and destroy all your opponent's cards. Yeah, there we go. The unique gauge will be charged greatly whenever Goku Black is hit with an enemy's arts attack. When it's fully charged, inflict all enemies with no special cover changing. Alright. Comboable against the good old strike cover change, a blue card. The following effects occur when health reaches 0. Restores own health by 30%. Cancel own attribute downgrades that are normal conditions. Destroy all of your enemies' arts cards. Okay. Activation count is shared before and after transforming. Yeah, they have to make this key. They don't want it to be like pre-transformation has endurance, post-transformation has endurance again. That would be really overpowered. Greatly charges own unique gauge every time when hit with an enemy's arts attack while this character is on the field. The following effects occur once the unique gauge is full. Restores own health by 20%. Shorten ally subcount by 2. Randomly destroy 2 enemy cards. Reduce ki by 50, enemy ki by 50, and inflict all enemies with no special cover changing for 15 counts. So a nice little debuff here. And lets you swap out. The following effects occur when enemy switches characters while this character is on the field. Restore own health by 5%, just so that Goku Black can sustain himself better, and your opponent can't try and nab type advantage over him with him having his little type neutral damage received. That's good. Inflict enemy with the attribute downgrade plus 10 to all arts costs and -1 cardio speed level. More disruptive effects. Applies the following effects to self after enemy attack is over. Restore 20% of the damage received up to 20% and 30% to damage inflicted for 15 counts. I'm surprised this isn't a character that heals a certain percentage, a certain number of counts. Do you know what I mean? I'm surprised he doesn't heal 3% of his health for every card that your opponent uses. Kind of like the Universal Spirit Bomb Kid Goku. Post-transformation. There it is. Post-transformation, he has blast armor on his strike, and he inflicts extreme bleed. Blast card. Land a blast arts to increase the damage the opponent receives. Inflict all enemies Inflict enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage received for 10 counts. Blue card, restore the Vantage Gauge by 100% upon activating a special move arts, one time only. You'll now nullify enemy endurance effects when the unique gauge isn't full as well. Okay, deals massive impact plus the following effects upon on activation, 30% to blue card damage, restore Vantage Gauge, and nullify endurance effects. This can be strong for a nice little bait and switch where you deliberately miss the blue to get your Vanish back, and your opponent attacks you not knowing that, and then you can just go ahead and either hit him with a rush, because you now have endurance nullification, assuming the opponent doesn't take away buff effects, or you can just go ahead and start comboing willy-nilly. Applies the following effects to enemy on hit, inflict attribute downgrade plus 10 to all arts costs, and 100% chance for an extreme bleed. If unique gauge is full, resets own unique gauge to 0, and the following effects occur upon activation. 30% to blue card damage, and inflict all enemies with the attribute downgrade minus 50% to health restore. Blast armor when charging forward. Green card, gain a buff effect that nullifies enemy special cover changes on hit. When the unique gauge is at max, restore own health and shorten the subcount of your allies. Applies the following effects to self upon activation. Randomly draws one new card, restores ki by 50. Following effects occur on hit. 20% to damage inflicted for 5 counts, nullify cover changes for 10 counts, inflict enemy with the attribute downgrade minus 50% to health restore for 5 counts, chainable with everything. If the unique gauge is full, resets the unique gauge to 0 and the following effects apply. Restore on health by 10%, minus 50% to enemy sustained damage cut effects. That's really strong. And shorten ally subcount by 2. So far so good. Sorry, just too much talking. Main ability, charge the unique gauge by 100% and nullify unfavorable element factors. Draw special move arts next, restore health by 20%, ki by 50, charge on unique gauge by 100%. That's going to be good because we know that the unique gauge applies no special cover changing to the opponent. Cancels own attribute downgrades at abnormal conditions and nullifies own unfavorable element factors for 10 counts. Good old Goku Black going type neutral. Unique ability 1, get a large buff to damage inflicted when you transform and also reduce all enemies' health restore by 50%. Don't give your opponent any chance to get back into the fight. The following effects occur after transforming. Another 40% damage inflicted, 60% to ki recovery. Doesn't he already have 70? Wow, damn. That's a lot of ki recovery. What are you trying to be, Broly? Damn. I think he also sat at, I think he was at 220% damage inflicted, no? Just showing up on the field for free. 150 and 70. Yes, so he sits at 224 free. Oh, he does get this 30% buff if he lands one, but I'm just gonna go with free passives that exist for him. So 220, and then after transforming, he goes to 260. Was it another 40%? 260. Okay, with 130% to ki recovery, plus 20% to own health restore for 30 counts. Pretty good. And inflict all enemies with the attribute downgrade minus 50% to health restore for 5 counts. The following effects occur when this character enters the field. Randomly draw one new card if you have 3 or fewer. The restore own health passive restores ki by 30. Restores own ki by 30. Reduces impact and slice damage received by 10% for 10 counts. Nullify own unfavorable element factors for damage sustained, and inflict all enemies with the attribute downgrade minus 30% special move, ultimate, and awakened arts power for 15 counts. Okay, applies the following effects to self upon landing a strike or blast arts hit. Restore ki by 30. So he gets 30 for showing up, and he gets another 30 upon landing a card. He gets 40% damage inflicted now, and activation counts resets after character switch. Cancel enemy buff effects when this enemy activates ultimate, awakened, or rising rush. We know that. Activates twice. And he shortens his own sub count when an ally is hit with a rising rush, ultimate, or awakened arts. Okay. Pretty good. After transforming, this character will have a cover change against blast arts instead of strike this time. Fill up the unique gauge to max will now nullify unfavorable element factors for damage sustained and reduce your opponent's Dragon Balls. Special cover change against blast, chainable with the blue. 30% health restore when the endurance procs. Destroy all your enemy's cards. Greatly charges on your unique gauge when hit with an enemy's arts attack while he's on the field. Once the unique gauge is full, resets to 0 and the following effects occur. Whoa, restores own health by 25%? Holy crap, that's a lot. And there's no limit to the activation counts. Damn, that's a lot. Remember, this guy increases his unique gauge charge rate when he gets hit. That's a lot. Nullifies own unfavorable element factors for damage sustained. Shorten ally subcount by 2. Randomly destroys 2 enemy cards. Reduce enemy key by 50. Reduce enemy Dragon Balls by 1. Activates twice and inflict all enemies with a no special cover changing passive. Debuff rather. Fallen effects occur when enemy switches characters while you're on the field. Restore on health by 5%. Plus 10 to all arts cost. Minus 1 to card draw speed. And after enemy attack is over, restore 20% of the damage received and 40% to damage inflicted. Yeah, okay, I see where the tanking is going to come from now. I was surprised there wasn't 3% every time the enemy hits you, but this is far superior. 25% of your health every time the unique gauge is full? That's a lot. So you're getting comboed as this guy, you're getting beaten up, you're type neutral all the way through, but you're okay. Your unique gauge procs 25% of your health, boom. And then by the time your opponent's combo is done, you're going to heal up to 20% of your own health. 20% damage received, whatever. So stacking these two together, paired alongside his health restore buff, is going to be a tanky boy. Damn. The only problem, though, is... I'm trying to think. How impactful is this character? Do you know what I mean? He's a tank. We have a lot of tanks that also do multiple things. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's preferred to have the tanking be attributed to a unique mechanic versus just your kit. Like if you look at Turles, it's almost like people are comfortable with his tanking being the fact that, hey, I got a second life. I don't care. So I'm going to go ahead and build my boy to be crazy damage inflicted. It's kind of the same thing with Ultra Majin Vegeta. He's got that disrupt. He heals a ton. He's got a counter gauge. Obviously, that's going to be, you know, in question now that we have a character that counters that kind of thing. But, you know, he's got that counter gauge to stop your combos. But he also has the fact that he is a crazy damage dealer. How well does this Goku Black compare to characters like that is the question. So, reduces his own sub count, take away buff effects on heavy hitting moves and Rising Rush, unique gauge, constant sustainability. I think he's going to be good, but I think he's below Vegito. If I put Vegito as top 4 at a minimum, I think Goku Black is more like top 7 at a minimum. Because if you think of the characters like Tria Might Goku, like this character, in theory, is going to be far more disruptive and tanky than, say, a character like Evil Boo. Because he does the same stuff. He heals. He's going to go ahead and make a card cost go up. He's a pain to deal with, but he also has endurance now. And he debuffs. So he's going to be above a character like Evil Boo. But what about a character like Tria Might Goku, who has far more versatility with both the combo potential and his ability to go ahead and get priority with that green card tackle mechanic and multiple vanish restorations. Like if you try to compare about the versatility of the other characters that could be above him versus what he's doing, it becomes a question of, is he superior to those things because he can tank so much better? I don't know. So I'm saying top 7 at a minimum, actually top 6 at a minimum, because I would imagine, you know, Ultra Majin Vegeta, Turles, Vegito, and Gotenks and Tria Might Goku, I think could be better than him. But where this Goku Black stands all depends on how well he performs. It all boils down to that. For all we know, he may shine better than Vegito for the simple fact that he gives this, you know, nullify cover changes thing that benefits everybody. We'll have to see how all this all applies. But I think they made some pretty spiffy characters. I think they made some interesting choices. I think the hype level, though, for this celebration is not on shaky water, but I could tell the feedback is not like people are pulling their hair out. They can't wait for reset. People are not as thrilled by these character choices. They're a little bit less inspired. You let me know in the comment section below how you feel about these characters. I think they're both very strong. I think Vegito is going to shine a little bit brighter as a crazy, hyper offensive, hyper defensive, all around jack of all trades, kick the crap out of your character. And I think Goku Black will still shine bright, but he'll be overshadowed by Vegito. We'll have to see. I could be wrong, but based off these kits, that's what I feel. You let me know how you feel in the comment section below. But until then, be on the lookout for the good old showcases and the summons. Peace, guys.